want to take the concept of a toad in a hole, which is bread with sausage and egg, and it's cooked in a pan, but I want to flip it on its head and use some brioche and make a sweet version. This is so delicious, and it's a bit of fun to make too. So I'm going to serve mine with some poached pears, and I want to start with a vanilla syrup. So I've got some water boiling over here. I'll add some vanilla extract so we get that beautiful vanilla flavour, and we want about a teaspoon. Also some sugar, so just caster sugar, and just give that a really quick whisk and it'll dissolve straight away. Now for the pears, I'm using Brioche pears. Now these are fantastic for poaching. I've taken the core out just with a melon baller, and I've left the tops on it because I think it's quite pretty and it holds as it cooks. So that goes into the syrup. You want enough of that syrup to completely submerge our beautiful pears. The lid goes on, and I'm going to turn this down to low. So I'm going to cook it for 5 minutes, turn the heat off and let them cool down in that syrup, and they'll be the perfect consistency. So while they're cooking, let's get onto the filling for these brioche toad in a holes. In another bowl, I'll add some more vanilla. This time I'm going to be using vanilla bean paste. And I like this because it's got the real vanilla beans through it. So you see the little speckles in the vanilla bean paste. And of course, we really want that vanilla flavour in this recipe. Also, some ricotta. I'm using some buffalo ricotta. I love it. It's really fine flavour. We want a generous spoonful or two. Okay. And to bind all of this together, 1 egg. We also need to sweeten this mixture up. So a little icing sugar, about a tablespoon. And I also like to add some apricot jam. Now I'm going to be using this to glaze later, but we can also add that apricot flavour throughout this too. A few more flavours, some cinnamon, and a small gesture of orange zest. You don't want too much, just a little bit. Okay, give that a really good mix. Just break it up with the back of your spoon. Good. Now for the brioche. So these are just store-bought brioche. These days at the supermarkets, you can find these little ones, and this is what I want. So I've split them in half, and then grab yourself a cookie cutter, and we're going to cut a hole in the top. So one quick gesture, and cut that out. And then before I pop the lid back on, we want to glue it together with our delicious flavoured ricotta. So a thin layer of ricotta. Spread it all the way to the sides, just like that. And then we're going to pop the top on. Next, we're going to add the poached pear, and it's just going to sit in there before it bakes in the oven. So I'll prepare the rest of the toads in a hole, and then we'll wait for our beautiful pears to finish cooking. Okay, the pears have cooled down, so now it's time to remove them from the syrup. And you don't have to throw this syrup. This vanilla syrup is fantastic to use again and again if you want to poach some more pears or some apples or any type of fruit. So I just want the cheek for this recipe, so we're just going to cut it down. Don't waste that, that's delicious. And then down again. And we're just going to nestle it into the brioche and ricotta. So just press that in, and then we've got a gorgeous toad in the hole. Next one, we'll just pop in there and just nestle it into the ricotta, and I'll do the last two. These now go into the oven as is, and they'll cook at 180 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Essentially, we're just warming up the bread and allowing those pears to caramelise slightly on the top. Well, how fantastic do these pear toad in the holes look? In actual fact, they kind of look like Danishes. I love it because it looks like you've gone to a lot of effort, but in actual fact, it's cheating slightly. So I've got the rest of that apricot jam, and I've just warmed it up in the microwave, just so it's quite loose, because I want to use this to brush over the pear and also the brioche, just to give it that extra sheen. We'll place this onto a plate. You can add some more ricotta to the top, or I'm going to add some fresh fruit. So a few big blueberries, look how big they are. I'm going to cut them in half. I just love exposing the centre of them, that bright purple colour on the outside and then that pale colour in the centre. And for some crunch, totally optional, pistachios, just going to roughly chop them. Could use some walnuts, even some hazelnut would work quite nicely with this. A little sprinkle over the top. And that's my sweet toad in a hole using pear and vanilla ricotta.